There's a moment just before sunrise in Oran when the city feels suspended between two worlds. Behind it, the vast desert. In front of it, the endless Mediterranean Sea. And in that space between the sand and salt water, a sound was born. Not classical, not polite, not designed for palaces or opera houses. It was music for the streets, for cafe conversations, for broken hearts and stubborn dreamers. It was Rai, a word that means opinion, a voice, a perspective, a refusal to stay silent. And from this sound rose a young singer with fire in his chest and rebellion in his throat. Cheb Khaled. Before the awards and before the world tours, and even before the word king or title king, there was a simple boy who wanted to sing the truth as he felt it. This is the story of a musician. It's a story of controversy, of identity, of surviving politics, and a story of a voice that crossed borders long before passports allowed it. Today, we will follow Khaled's journey from Oran's neighborhoods to global stages, and we'll discover how he carried the heartbeat of Rai music to the global stages. Khaled was born on February 29, 1960, in Oran, Algeria, a rare Libyan child in a city that never moved in ordinary ways. Oran was Algeria's music laboratory. It absorbed Spanish guitars, French accordion, Arabic poetry, and African rhythms. The port city heard everything: sailor songs, wedding chants, and nightclub bands. Khaled grew up in a modest household. Algeria had gained independence in 1962. The nation was rebuilding itself, defining its identity, negotiating modernity and tradition. Music became a mirror for that identity. As a boy, Khaled listened to traditional Rai masters, voices filled with gravel and truth. He also admired Arab icons like Kulthum, whose powerful delivery showed him how emotion could stretch across minutes, across silence, and across continents. By 14, Khaled was recording on small local labels, cheap cassette tapes, simple studio equipment, but something in his voice stood out: a raw urgency. He adopted the title Cheb, meaning young. In Rai culture, Cheb signaled a new generation, which was bold and unapologetic. It separated him from the older chic singers, and as he performed in weddings and local clubs, his name began spreading from one neighborhood to another. The tapes traveled faster than cars, and without realizing it, the boy from Oran was becoming the soundtrack of the youth. But Rai itself was changing, and Khaled would change with it. The Rai of the 1970s had roots in folk traditions, Gaspar flutes, hand drums, and emotional storytelling. But Algeria's cities were modernizing, youth culture was rising, synthesizers were arriving, electric guitars entered the scene, and Rai adapted. Khaled became one of the faces of this transformation. He didn't abandon tradition, he layered it. Drum machines pulsed under desert melodies. Synthesizers lines danced around ancient scales. Lyrics became more daring, talking about love, desire, frustration, and social pressure. Young people felt hurt, but not everyone approved it. Conservative voices criticized Rai for being too Western, too rebellious, and too open. Still, the genre grew stronger. In 1985, the first major Rai festival in Oran marked a turning point. The government, once skeptical, began recognizing the music's popularity. Khaled performed, and something shifted. He was no longer just a local star. He was becoming a national symbol of youth expression. But Algeria was entering a turbulent time, and the music would soon face a storm. In the late 1980s, Algeria was going through political instability and rising violence. Artists, intellectuals, and performers faced uncertainty. Many left. Khaled made the difficult decision to move to Paris in 1986. It wasn't abandonment, it was survival. Paris offered opportunities, producers, bigger studios, and global exposure. But Exile carried loneliness. In France, Khaled had to redefine himself. He wasn't just singing for Oran anymore. He was singing for immigrants, for diasporas, for people torn between home and elsewhere. And in 1992, he released the album titled Khaled. And then came the explosion. There was a song in that album titled Didi. Didi became a global dance hit. It topped charts in France and spread through Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Clubs played it, weddings played it, radio stations repeated it. Rai was no longer underground. It was international. And Khaled stood at the center of that transformation. But global fame will test him in new ways he never imagined. By the mid-1990s, Khaled had already conquered dance floors with Didi. But dance hits can fade. Trends can disappear. What he needed next was depth. And in 1996, he released the album titled Sarah, a project that blended Rai with world music, pop arrangements, and refined production. And from that album came a song that would redefine his global image. The song was titled Aïcha, written by French songwriter Jean-Jacques Goldman. Aïcha was gentle, emotional, and poetic. Unlike the raw energy of Rai early on, this song slowed down. It told the story of a woman who refuses material gifts and demands respect, dignity, and equality. At a time when stereotypes about Arab music often focus on exorcism, Aïcha showed vulnerability. The song climbed European charts. It reached #1 in several countries. It played on mainstream radio stations that had never previously featured Rai music. For many listeners in France, Germany, Belgium, and beyond, this was their first emotional connection to Arabic language music. Khaled began performing in larger venues, international festivals, television appearances, and many more. And what stood out was this: audiences who didn't understand Arabic still sang along, because emotions travel faster than translation. Aïcha transformed Khaled from a dance ambassador into a global storyteller. But even greater symbolism was about to unfold. In 1998, something extraordinary happened in Paris. At the Palais Omnisport de Bercy, Khaled shared the stage with two other Algerian stars, Rachid Taha, known for his rock-influenced rebellion, Fudel, the younger heartthrob of modern Rai. The concert was titled 1, 2, 3 Soliels, 3 voices, 3 personalities, 3 generations of Algerian sound. But it was more than a concert. It was a cultural statement. Algeria in the 1990s was going through deep political turmoil. Violence had shaken the nation. Many Algerians in France felt divided between homes, emotionally and physically. That night in Paris, thousands gathered not just for music, but for identity. Khaled stood at the center, the bridge between the old Rai and its new global form. The energy was electric. Traditional melodies met rock guitars. Synths met North African percussions. The concert album became a major success. It symbolized pride for the Algerian diaspora. For one night, music healed something politics could not, and Khaled's crown as the King of Rai felt earned, not through ego, but through unity. But with visibility also comes with pressure, and fame rarely moves without shadows. As Khaled's global presence grew, questions followed him. Was Rai becoming too commercial? Had it lost its raw edge? Was Khaled still the rebellious youth of Oran, or now a polished international pop star? When he obtained French citizenship, debates intensified. Some critics in Algeria questioned his loyalty, but for many immigrants, his story mirrored their own. Living between countries, belonging to two cultures, feeling at home and foreign at the same time. Khaled often responded with music rather than arguments. He continued touring internationally, collaborating across genres, bridging Rai into spaces it had never entered before. There were also legal and personal challenges, disputes with producers, family matters that occasionally reached public attention. But through it all, his stage presence remained powerful. When Khaled performed live, the controversies faded immediately. His voice still carried that Oran texture, slightly rough, deeply emotional, and unmistakably Rai. Fame can amplify a voice, but it can also test it, and Khaled endured both. Over decades, Khaled sold millions of records worldwide. He received prestigious awards in France and internationally. He performed at global events and high-profile ceremonies. But his true achievement goes beyond trophies. He globalized Rai. Before Khaled, Rai was regional. After Khaled, Rai became part of the world music conversation. His fusion style paved the way for later North African artists to collaborate internationally. Pop, hip-hop, electronic, the doors were open. Young artists from Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria and the diaspora cite him as inspiration. His ability to modernize without erasing roots became a blueprint to most of them. And perhaps most importantly, he changed perception. For Western audiences unfamiliar with Algerian culture, Khaled became a first introduction. Through him, people discovered Oran, discovered Rai, discovered a sound that carried desert heat and Mediterranean breeze in the same melody. That is legacy, not just fame, not just success, but impact. And decades after Didi, decades after Aïcha, his songs are still played, still danced to, and still felt whenever they are played. Because legends are not remembered only for their peak, they are remembered for the parts they created. When night falls over Oran and the sea grows quiet, a familiar sound still rises in the air, the voice of Cheb Khaled. He took Rai from small streets and local weddings and carried it across the world, turning simple songs into powerful messages about love, pride, and freedom. His music plays in cars, at family parties, and in homes far away from Algeria, reminding people where they come from and where they are. New artists will come and new trends will grow, but some voices never fade. As long as Rai is played somewhere between the desert and the sea, Khaled's voice will still be there, strong, warm, and alive. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next.
La Marocchina, Andalusia, Algerian, Maghribi.